Well, hello and welcome to the Best Football Show. It's been a couple of days since I've been on here. This you can find wherever you get your apps. You can download this free Odyssey app and you can find the Best Football Show. I'm your host, Brian Baldinger. You can like it and subscribe to it. You can find me all over social media at Baldy NFL on X, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. And you can find me at the NFL Network. I was there all weekend breaking down the draft. But we got breaking news today. Before we get and look back at the draft, I just got back from Los Angeles where I was out there for 7 days doing draft shows and ultimately helping out with the draft on Saturday afternoon in that last day. 200,000 people in Green Bay, man. It was some scene. But we got breaking news here today. George Kittle looks like he's going to be a 49er for life. He's just signed a new extension. Highest paid tight end in NFL history right now. Good move by San Francisco, but they have a way of paying guys top money, whether it is Trent Williams at left tackle or Christian McCaffrey at running back, or you name it, Nick Bosa at defensive end. Go through their lineup. They've got some of the best players at their positions in this league. They still yet to have locked up their quarterback Brock Purdy, which sounds like they're in the process of doing, but they found money for George Kittle. So congratulations to George. He stays in the fold. A phenomenal player. Last year, a great year. Year before, his blocking is as good as anybody in this business at that position. So congratulations to the 49ers getting George Kittle locked up. But I'm sure every 49er fan is like, all right, it's great. We got George. When we getting our quarterback locked up? Those things take time. I remember talking to Nick Bosa a couple days after he signed his deals 2 years ago. And, they were getting ready for week one. San Francisco was in Pittsburgh, getting ready for their opener. And Nick was more relieved than happy that he got it done. But he was just telling me, like, the contract was like this. It's just a book. It's just so much legalese in it. All the different things that have to be put into a contract. It's not a 2 or 3 page contract, folks. It gets really involved. And so George gets his deal done. He'll be a 49er. Remember, George Kittle was he a 5th round pick? 5th round pick, I believe. Kelsey was a 3rd round pick. So sometimes they're not just first rounders that become the highest paid positions, the best at their positions, are Hall of Fame players. George's on a pretty good path in that direction right now. Let's go back to the draft because it's still being talked about. The quarterbacks, and specifically the slide or the perceived slide of Shaduer Sanders. He was the 144th player taken in the 5th round by Cleveland after they already drafted a quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, in the 3rd round with the 94th pick. I don't believe that this is collusion by owners. I don't believe conspiracy theories. I don't believe any of this stuff. I believe Shaduer was drafted where people thought his value was. I mean, Cleveland could have easily taken him, with the 94th pick. They took Dylan Gabriel with the 94th pick in the 3rd round. Jackson Dart was the 2nd quarterback taken. The Giants traded up with Houston to get to the 25th pick to take Jackson Dart. They valued Jackson Dart over Shaduer Sanders. Tyler Shuck. Like, first of all, you look at the quarterbacks that were taken. You look at the teams that were quarterback needy, starting with Tennessee. Well, they had decided on Cam Ward a month ago. They decided they were taking Cam Ward. Everybody asked about the pick. They asked to trade up to get it. Tennessee was locked into Cam Ward. So Tennessee was off the books. We know the Giants were looking for a quarterback. New Orleans was looking for a quarterback. Seattle was looking for a quarterback. Cleveland was looking for a quarterback. And the Raiders were looking for a quarterback. Shaduer, look, he got taken. I like Shaduer. I went to his pro day. It wasn't a great throwing session. I've seen throwing sessions much better than his, but he didn't get taken with the 144th pick because of his throwing session. The Giants spent a lot of time. They were there. Cleveland was there at that thing. Everybody was there from Cleveland. But when you take Dylan Gabriel with the 94th pick in the third round, and then you come back and take Shaduer, you're basically saying you're drafting him to be a backup quarterback. Now, I would say this to Shaduer if he was on this podcast right now. Go rent a room at the Embassy Suites across the street from the Cleveland Browns facility in Berea, Ohio, 10 minutes away from the airport, and go immerse yourself in the offense. Go meet your teammates. Go learn the playbook forwards and backwards. Go get as much time with the receivers, Jerry Jeudy, and Njoku, with all the guys that you can as quickly as you can, and get yourself a head start. We see quarterbacks. We've seen Tom Brady drafted 199 in the 6th round. We've seen Kirk Cousins taken in the 4th round in the same draft that they took RG3 with the 2nd pick. We have seen Brock Purdy taken at the very last pick in the 7th round and all become bona fide starters in this league. Make a lot of money, go to Super Bowls, become the GOAT. There's opportunity. I was a free agent. I was one of 110 free agents signed by the Dallas Cowboys. I made the team. I was the only free agent to make it in 1982. 5 other draft picks made it. I was one of 6 rookies to make the team. Like, you're going to get a chance to go win the job. I don't think that Joe Flacco needs to get a lot of reps in the offseason. So take every rep you can get. Get every drill you can. Stay after practice late. Get there early. Get to know Bill Musgrave, the quarterback's coach. Kevin Stefanski. Get to know the staff. Become a pro and go compete your butt off. There's Kenny Pickett has been traded twice, all right, since he was the 20th pick in the draft by the Steelers 3 years ago. Dylan Gabriel, I saw him at the Senior Bowl. He's played more games than any quarterback in college football history. I think he's played 66 games, something like that, in 3 different places. I mean, if you're Shaduer, just go compete. I mean, all the noise right now, all the drama, all that stuff, all of the chat and the chit chat that was out there. Go do something about it. Go show everybody that you're worthy of a 1st-round pick. Go become a starter. If Cleveland gets a starter out of Shaduer Sanders, the way they did at one time with Baker for a couple of years, and he gets them to a playoff, gets them to the playoffs and wins a playoff game, believe me, they will sell a lot of Shaduer Sanders jerseys, and he'll become a star. He's got to go do it now. And really, he's gotten this advice from other people. It really doesn't matter where you get drafted. It helps with your contract. It helps during the draft that you get the exposure and you're seen with all the other 1st-round picks or 2nd-round picks. Honestly, all that matters right now is like you go compete and Cleveland gives you a chance. Make the team one way or the other this year and then just climb up through the ranks. That's what I would tell them. I think the other quarterbacks got taken in good spots. Jackson Dart with the Giants, it's a good place. I don't think there's a place with the Giants right now with Jameis Winston. It makes no sense to keep Jameis Winston. I know he signed a 2-year deal, $4 million a year. Makes no sense to keep Jameis Winston. You got Russell Wilson. He's been named the starter. All right, great. Russell gets, starter reps. He gets to build a relationship with the receivers, Jalen Hyatt and Malik Neighbors and, everybody else. He gets to learn the offense. But honestly, if he starts to falter, if they get off to a bad start like they did last year, if they're 1-6, it's time for Jackson Dart to play. Find out what you have there. They went to Ole Miss for Eli Manning a long time ago. They're trying to replace Eli Manning. Jackson Dart should get all of the 2nd-team reps. He should get the majority of preseason reps. Get him ready to play. You don't need another layer of Jameis Winston in that roster right now. You draft him in the 1st round. You look at Dan Marino was his 27th pick taken. Aaron Rodgers was the 24th player taken in his draft. Marino in the 83 draft. Aaron Rodgers in the 2005 draft. They became Hall of Fame players. Jackson Dart is the 25th player taken. He needs to start getting ready. All right, find out what you have. Because if he's not the guy, they got to go back to the well. Tyler Shuckins gets a chance to work with Kellen Moore. We got to see what the status of Derek Carr is. I don't know. I don't think they know. It's a mysterious injury right now. We'll see. Spencer Ratliff is there. They've got some guys on the roster. Go compete. Jalen Milroe's in a great spot in Seattle. Great spot. They trade away Sam Howell. He's the backup right now to Sam Darnold. He's an elite athlete. I bet that Seattle has a package of plays for Jalen Milroe to go in there. Wildcat, quarterback runs, quarterback throws, you name it. I can see a package for Jalen Milroe. That's what they had for Donovan McNabb. His first year, 1999, I mean, Doug Peterson was the starter. And honestly, they had a package of plays before Donovan became the starter. And he came in for packages and series at a time. I think they should do the same thing with Milroe. And then you get Gabriel at 94 and Shaduer. That's that. Let's talk about some of those trades because the trades drive the draft. I came out on Tuesday last week and said I had a premonition. I had some knowledge that there was going to be a blockbuster trade in the first round. In the top 5 picks, there was going to be a blockbuster trade. This was not going to be a boring draft. This was going to be fireworks. And I had a feeling because Travis Hunter was the one true star in this draft, and maybe Abdul Carter, I thought if teams wanted to get to the top 5, trade in the top 5, for one of those 2 players, I could see it. Jacksonville was a wild card. James Gladstone was the first-time general manager. Tony Boselli is in charge of football operations, first time in that role. Liam Cohen, first-time head coach. I thought Jacksonville was the wild card, and they were picking 5, and I thought they needed star power. And so when they got on the clock and they made the trade with Cleveland to get the number 2 pick and to give up next year's number 1, to move up 3 spots to get Travis Hunter, I thought it was a good deal. We'll find out. Maybe Cleveland benefited. They get Jacksonville's number 1 pick next year. They got a boatload of picks this year. I thought Jacksonville had a plan for Travis Hunter. I thought Gladstone was great, in his first draft. But that was a big deal. First time GM, Tony Boselli said he was a stud through the whole process. And they did a good job of keeping it in-house and not letting it leak out, even though the parameter for the trade had been there for a couple of weeks. But I had a pretty strong premonition that there was somebody coming up for Travis Hunter. And I didn't want to leak anything about Jacksonville because I wasn't 100% sure. But I had a pretty good inkling that Jacksonville was coming up. And then the other big trade was the Atlanta Falcons. After taking Jalen Walker with the 15th pick, they came up and traded with the Rams to go get James Pierce Jr. And honestly, Les Snead knows Raheem Morris. They know each other. Raheem came from the Rams. They worked together. I actually like the trade. I know a lot of people think that the Rams fleeced the Falcons. The Falcons couldn't get to the quarterback. Arnold Ebiketie led the team in sacks last year with 6. They had 31 sacks as a team. Defensively, they're pretty good, except they can't put pressure on the quarterback. The only time they play well is against Tampa, and Tampa scores in the 30s on them. So you need to affect the quarterback. And if you get Jalen Walker and James Pierce and you say, we're pretty good everywhere else. We're good inside at defensive tackle. We're good at safety. They drafted 2 safeties and Xavier Watts, the kid from Oklahoma who is a complete stud. But I liked what Atlanta did, in drafting Billy Bowman, playmaking safety, 2 safeties, 2 edge rushers. All right, let's go. You got your quarterback. Let's go compete for the division. Now, the Rams can sit back and say, look, if Atlanta falters, and I don't know, you can say a bunch of things. You could say if the quarterback doesn't work out, maybe they're picking top 10 next year. Rams get a top 10 pick. Who knows? Maybe, maybe the Archie Manning sweepstakes take place next year. Maybe they take place the following year. There'll be a lot of teams looking for that pick. But I kind of liked it. I liked Atlanta. I liked what they did. If you have conviction on a player, if you think James Pierce Jr. is going to be an elite pass rusher, then go get him. It's not every year you get those guys in the draft. And his talent is elite. So is Jalen Walker's. So maybe they put them both on the field and they both get double-digit sacks next year and Atlanta wins the division. Nobody's going to care that you gave up the number 1 draft pick. All right. And then let's wrap this up with the running backs because we saw, Gentry go number 6 to the Raiders, and we saw Hampton go number 22 to the Chargers. I think both start next year. I think both are impact players. They happen to be in the same division. Also, R.J. Harvey went number 60 to Denver at the bottom of the second round. You might have 3 rookie starting running backs in the AFC West next year. Something just to look at. I was a little surprised that Harvey was the pick for Sean Payton in Denver. I know they tried to trade up. I'm sure they were interested in Hampton. They just couldn't get there in what they had. But they settled on Harvey, and he's a good back out of Central Florida. But, the 2 Ohio State backs went right next to each other. Judkins, Quinshawn Judkins, Travion Henderson went number 36 and 38. Judkins, to the Cleveland Browns, they got their running back. Judkins is the bigger back than Henderson. Henderson's a stud. It was a good draft for running backs. You look at 4 of the top 38 picks were running backs. So, and they went all the way down. My favorite pick of all the running backs was Cam Skattebo, number 105 to the Giants. I think at MetLife Stadium this year, they're going to be booing, like in Skattebo. He's going to be a crowd favorite. The Giants got themselves, I thought they had a good draft. We'll get to the draft tomorrow. We'll talk about the winners and losers. I'm still digesting it. Everybody else is too. We'll get to the winners and losers of the draft. But I think there was a lot of teams that helped themselves out a lot. And you can't discount what the Steelers did with Caleb Johnson with the 83rd pick. They lost, their starting running back to free agency with the Chargers. They're looking for a starting running back. Caleb Johnson, it's a big back, 225, 230 pounds. That's a Steeler-type back. Didn't run the fastest time, but, was a breakaway threat. So anyways, Shaduer, we just want to say good luck. It's time to go to work. The drama is over, and you're now a Cleveland Brown. Let's see if the Browns, I think I had somebody in stats look this up this weekend. Since Cleveland went back to Cleveland, I think they have started 40 different quarterbacks. Maybe they will start their 41st this year, and Shaduer Sanders will win that job. Wouldn't that be something if he becomes the starting quarterback and wins some games there? But there's a lot of work to be done. There's a deep, it's a 5 quarterback roster right now. I don't know. They need 5. We'll see if Deshaun Watson's even healthy to play, but there's 5 guys on the roster. Time to go to work. Anyways, that's been the best football show. That was the talk of the draft, the running backs, the trades, the quarterbacks. We'll review the winners and losers tomorrow. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Look forward to talking to you sometime tomorrow.